My name is Wheeler Copperthwaite. I'm a police reporter with the Nevada Appeal, and today we're going to be roasting cauliflower. First thing you want to do is take off all of the greens from the cauliflower itself. You can see this is a pretty small one. I'm going to take off the greens, cut the base off, and then what I like to do is cut lengthwise, and then again to be able to access the florets. And then from there, I cut down, and then voila, we have florets that are already cut and ready to be tossed in olive oil. So now we're going to drench or lightly coat the cauliflower with olive oil. So just enough to lightly coat each one of the florets in little pieces. Take a little bit of salt, just add a little bit on the top. Then you take a little pepper and put it over the top. Toss it all again. The point of the olive oil is so that the salt and pepper stick, and also so it cooks in the oven. I don't like cleaning up much for messes, so I measure out some parchment paper with it. Take the cauliflower, dump it all on. As you can see, there's very little olive oil left in the bowl. And one of the goals you want to have is that each piece sits by itself. You don't want any overlap. They won't cook properly otherwise. If you have too much, then get a second baking sheet and put the excess on the second baking sheet. If you have more than one cauliflower, usually you will need a second baking sheet. So now that you have it on the baking sheet, the first thing that you should have done, which I should have told you about, was to turn the oven on to 425 to 400. Speaking of which, you then take it, and we're going to put it at the oven at 425 or 400. I like to use 425 for about 25 to 30 minutes. In addition to cooking cauliflower, you can also cook turnips, jicama, beets, rutabagas, celery root, daikon, and asparagus. First thing you want to do is cut off any unsavory ends. And then simply, especially for all of these round tubers, you want to cut them into slices that are probably about 1/8 of an inch thick. You want to have pretty consistent slices. If you don't have consistent slices, they will cook unevenly, and some will burn and some will not. The one thing you want to do when cooking cauliflower is move your head away from the opening of the oven when you open it, because lots of steam may come out. Right now it's cooking just fine, but it's got a lot longer to go. The other option is to cut them in half and then to cut them in slices after that. And finally we have daikon, a type of radish. The next thing we're going to do is cut all of these up a little bit finer, and then we're going to throw them all into the bowl together, put a little bit of olive oil on them, put some salt and some pepper, and then we're going to prepare them for a baking sheet. Everything should be on a single layer. So this is actually a tuber, and this is not. These are two entirely different families. So although oftentimes people will say they're cooking tubers, when they're talking about root vegetables, they're wrong. Because tubers aren't root vegetables. Tubers are potatoes and sweet potatoes and yams and other things like that. They're not things like carrots. Cauliflower is a highly modified type of broccoli. While you're waiting for this to cook, you can read a book, you can watch TV, or you can go take out the compost and feed the chickens. So where do I dump the...
Just kind of chuck it in around them.
So now we're taking the cauliflower out, and as you can see, it's quite browned. Pretty firm. Ready for eating. So you want to flip them over so that none of them actually burn. One of the other things you can do is, if you still have a little bit of jicama left, and you have friends over, is you can cut up the raw jicama and then serve it to your friends.
You probably should take the skin off.
As we can see, some of them are a little bit crispier than others. Depends on how thick they are. Now these are a great side dish to really anything. When I was an au pair in Germany, I would go buy cauliflower at the market and I would make it as a side dish to whatever I was cooking, whether it was some kind of pasta or if it was roast braten or anything. It was always a good side dish.